What's going on, guys? Nathan here, bringing you a Team Fortress 2 gameplay commentary. This video's topic will be discussing the sticky jumper for Demo Man and whether it should be considered a legit weapon. Now, this gameplay itself, I must admit, is pretty fantastic. I do get some pretty good kills as Demo Man. I don't know what was going on, but I just recorded this like maybe an hour ago, and I was just on the top of my game. So this is pretty good demo gameplay, and yeah, let's just talk about the sticky jumper a little bit. So the whole reason I'm wondering whether the sticky jumper should be considered a legit weapon in a tryhard situation is because its effects are on par with the effects that you might get from some other secondary, such as the sticky bomb launcher or the shields like the charge and targe, because the ability to lay down stickies, jump off of them, and almost instantly teleport to another area of the map is really powerful and is probably worth the opportunity cost of throwing out your sticky bomb launcher or other secondary that you might be using. So it is very powerful, and I do think that its uses definitely rival what you might get with a sticky bomb launcher, because, for example, maybe you don't have a sticky bomb launcher and you can't take out that sentry, but you certainly can be a much better deathmatcher, because if you have super increased mobility across a map, that is going to make you a definite force. Not to even mention that with the sticky bomb launcher, since you can lay down 3 or 4 stickies, you can actually almost instantly teleport across the map. And I know I said this before, but it is almost literally teleporting across the map. Like, no one ever sees you. I did this actually in a couple of times in this gameplay where I just laid down 4 stickies where red wasn't really watching. I almost teleported onto the red's battlements and then surprised a couple of snipers, and I actually killed them with my frying pan, which made it all the more hilarious. But even so, I mean, it's just really good. Also, the sticky jumper is much more powerful than the rocket jumper, simply because you have a lot more force and mobility behind the sticky jumper, because with the rocket jumper, you can only do 1 rocket, and technically, as a soldier, if you're like super freaking good, you can basically like rocket jump across the map. But for those of us without that kind of amazing rocket jumping skill, with a sticky jumper, we can just lay down 8 stickies and then teleport. Like, and I'm just going to call it teleporting because that's basically what it is, but the sticky jumper just has a lot more force behind your actual jump, and the rocket jumper, you can't really replace your primary as a soldier with the rocket jumper, because, I mean, it doesn't benefit the same way as the sticky jumper does. So that's kind of the reasoning as to like why the rocket jumper does not have the same ability to be such a force as a sticky jumper. So just to reiterate one more time, the sticky jumper is definitely decent as a secondary on its own, and I do think that it could be used as a legit weapon in tryhard situations, because what it represents is super increased mobility, and yeah, that's pretty much all. And when you have super increased mobility, that just opens up a lot of doors on the actual battlefield as to what you can do. Now, if you are going to be using this class, what I would suggest, and this is what I use in this gameplay actually, is the sticky bomb launcher, because, or I mean, not the sticky bomb launcher, the pipe bomb launcher, because when you sacrifice one of your weapons, or in this case your secondary, you're going to want to make up that firepower somewhere else. And for me personally, I just think the lock and load does not have enough pipes in its clip. Just 2 pipes doesn't really do it for me, whereas with a pipe bomb launcher, I could still get direct hits and do a lot more damage because I do have more pipes available. So I tend to make up, or try to make up, that firepower with the pipe bomb launcher by having those 4 pipes, and that is definitely the weapon I would suggest for your primary. But if you're super amazing with the lock and load, go ahead and use that. But for me personally, I just find that I do better with the pipe bomb launcher, and I would also suggest the frying pan or the default, whatever, the Scottish handshake, I think, is the other skin of the default melee. And there you actually just saw me kill both of those snipers. See, that is a good example of what can be done with the sticky jumper as your secondary. But anyway, definitely I would suggest to use the frying pan, just because it's always nice to have full health, because if you use the Eyelander or some such weapon as that, you have decreased health, and you definitely want full health. And with this, you know, obviously, if you're going tryhard demo, you don't really want to go melee too much, so I would definitely, you know, not, like, buff out or whatever, make your melee all fancy, you know, just keep it default, because the default is still pretty decent as Demo Man. But anyway, yeah, that's pretty much the weapons I would suggest with this loadout, and yeah, it's really decent if used correctly. Also, one other little perk with the Sticky Jumper that may or may not deserve to be noted is that if you have a quick fix medic on you, you and your medic can teleport instantly, which is always useful once again. But that's just a little perk too. The same thing goes with the rocket launcher, but you know, I mean, teleporting with you and your medic is also nice, but that's kind of a given with the quick fix. And that will just about wrap up this video, guys, as I sticky jump across that gap, bam, with the crit on the sniper, landed on his head even. One more example of what the sticky jumper can accomplish on Gold Rush anyway. And not to even mention that on, like, bigger maps, it's even more powerful because on a huge map like Upward, for example, mobility is huge because that is wide open and you need to get from cover to cover, or even just if you need to rush over and push the cart, you know, you can always just sticky jump over there. But yeah, that is pretty much the video, guys, as we just about win this round on Gold Rush. And I will see you all later. If you did enjoy the video, please leave a rating. I always appreciate it. And thank you all for watching. I definitely like making these Team Fortress 2 commentaries, and you guys are always great subscribers as always. And yeah, that'll pretty much be the video, and I'll see you all later, hopefully in the next video. Peace out.